Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it might be where you are when you're watching this. Celine Driver, me, your boy, coming to you with another not walking, walking and talking video. One of these days I'm going to get back to walking in my walking and talking videos, but today is not that day. As you saw from the title of this video, I want to throw in my 2 cents worth on the realignment of the SEC, the Southeastern Conference, after we add two more teams to the SEC, namely Texas and Oklahoma. All right, so let's see. Several people refer to them as the Shorthorns and the Land Thieves. Whatever. I've already stated that I don't like adding those two teams to the SEC. I don't see what value they add to the SEC. Other people have said to me, well, Celine Driver, they add more eyeballs on TV and a couple more big college football markets, and I guess I can see that. But in terms of the quality of the SEC, well, in case of Oklahoma, I guess I can see it. With the respect to Texas, and with all due respect to my friend D4 of D4 Sports, I ain't seeing it. But that's not the subject of this video. Although I just wanted to get that in because, I'm not the greatest trash talker in this group of college football fans, but got to start somewhere. What I want to do is I want to go over what I think should happen going forward with respect to what teams play in what division and so on and so forth. First of all, let's go over, I have my non-copious notes here. Current lineup. We have two divisions in the Southeastern Conference, as you all are well aware. We have, in the East, Florida, Georgia, Kentucky, Tennessee, Missouri, South Carolina, and Vanderbilt. Though God knows why Vanderbilt is still playing football in this day and age, but another subject for another video. In the West, we have Alabama, Auburn, Ole Miss, Mississippi State, Texas A&M, Arkansas, aka Arkansas, and LSU. So you have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in the East, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in the West. Now, that's 14 teams. So when Texas and Oklahoma come in, that's 8 teams. 16 teams, which you could divide into 8 teams per division. Now, first things first, the pod idea. First of all, I hate the term pod. The NFL, the No Fun League, the National Felons League, has 4 divisions per conference. They're divisions. They're not pods. Pods are something you have with laundry detergent in them that Gen Zers eat for some reason. Pods are futuristic little transportation devices in sci-fi movies. Pods are what peas come in. Pods are not, for football. It's a stupid name. It's childish. It's idiotic. And has no place in big boy football in the SEC. Let the Pac-12 have pods. Let the small 10 or the small 12 have pods. Let the ACC have pods. We have divisions. All right? Let's get that out of the way. Is it necessary to go from 2 divisions to 4 divisions? 4 groups of 4. No. That's dumb. You have 2 divisions of 7 teams. You're adding 2 teams. You're telling me that the Southeastern Conference can't handle 8 teams in a division. Nonsense. Nonsense. So don't fix what ain't broken. Okay? Now, the way I see it, based on geography, just points on the map, for those of you, who went to Georgia, places on a map where a school is. That's what geography means in this context, okay? Based on that, Texas and Oklahoma would naturally be in the Western Conference, that division, along with other teams in the same area, like Texas A&M, and so on. So I reworked the breakdown of divisions. Only one team has to move, the way I see it. And, in the current 14 teams, one team moves from west to east. You put the 2 small 10 teams, there's a small 12. Who cares? The conference is dying anyway. You put those 2 new teams in the west, move one team from west to east, done. Done. It's over. You keep the same thing where you have one team, like for instance, one team in the East constantly plays one team from the West every year. In this case of Florida, it's LSU. And then you have one other team rotate in on a year-to-year basis, like they do now. It's been working for years and years and years with nary an objection. And then you play all the teams in your division. Yeah, you'll have to go from an 8-game conference schedule to a 9-game conference schedule. But in a previous video, it worked out in my mind, because that'll force everyone to get rid of one of those cupcake games that everyone gets all pissy about when your team goes in and plays a Division 1 AA cupcake and beats them up 50,000 to nothing. Except in the case of Florida last year, where they almost lost because the team was no good and the coaching staff was no good. And by that point, they had given up. It is what it is. Still won the game. Whether you win by 1 point or 1,000, it's still a win. But, Florida almost screwed the pooch on that one. But again, another subject entirely. So, the way I see it, and you can feel free to go down into the comment section and tell me what an idiot I am, that I've never watched a college football game in my life, even though I've probably been watching college football longer than most of you have been alive. This is the way I see the divisions. In the East, everything stays the same. Florida, Georgia, Kentucky, Tennessee, Missouri, South Carolina, Vanderbilt. LSU moves from west to east. Based on geography, that made the most sense to me. The West stays mostly the same. Alabama, Auburn, Arkansas, Ole Miss, Mississippi State, and Texas A&M. You add Texas and Oklahoma to the West. Mostly this breaks down on east of the Mississippi versus west of the Mississippi. Well, actually it really doesn't. I don't know. Mostly, I mean, you could divide it, say, on time zone, Eastern time versus Central. Nothing is perfect in that, the way it's divided. It's just, I looked at the map and I said, okay, these schools are over in the West and these schools are over in the East. Or more east more, as you move from west to east. So one team, LSU, moves from the Western Division to the Eastern Division. And as far as the Gators are concerned, that doesn't change anything. We end up playing LSU every year anyway. And you add the two newbies, Texas and Oklahoma, to the Western Conference. The Texas A&M rivalry game is renewed because they're both in the same division, so they'll play every year. Texas and Oklahoma will play every year because, again, in the same division. Alabama-Auburn stays the same rivalry. Ole Miss, Mississippi State stays the same. Florida, Georgia stays the same. Florida, Tennessee stays the same. Most of the rivalries stay intact for the most part. Now, obviously, there'd be some rivalries, or not really rivalries, but games that happen every year that'll get disrupted. But for the most part, everything goes on as it is. 2022, I think, is the last year for the SEC as constituted. And I think it's 23. Texas and Oklahoma join the conference. That's the last I heard, anyway. So from 22 to 23, there will be minimal disruption. And I think as fans, that's what we're looking for. We're looking for things to stay as much the same as they can be, and still add two teams to the conference. And I think this way works, at least in my mind. Now, you can comment below and say, yeah, Celine Driver, you got it right, or no, Celine Driver, you're full of it. But if you're going to tell me I'm full of it, tell me where I'm going wrong. Anyway, it's beyond our pay grades, yours and mine. I mean, we're just fans. The SEC doesn't listen to us anyway. So, but that's the way I think it should be. Pods are for laundry detergent, not for football, dividing up football teams into little subgroups. If you're going to do that, at least call them divisions. Don't call them pods. That's the stupidest fucking thing I ever heard. Anyway, that's the way I see it. That's it for this edition of Walkin' and Talkin' with me, your boy Celine Driver. And I am out.